The Quinnipiac men's basketball team has hired a new head coach.
On Monday, Baker Dunleavy was named as the new head coach of the program.
It was only a matter of time before Dunleavy ended up taking a head coaching position somewhere. I mean, he's been associate head coach at Villanova the last 4 years. Villanova won 129 games over these last 4 years, obviously won the national title last year.
Just hours after Dunleavy was announced as the next head coach, a few players were quick to show their discontent. Freshman stars Mikey Dixon and Peter Kiss submitted their request to be released from Quinnipiac. If these players do choose to stay, which they still could, how do you think that would influence the program and the mindset of the team?
Well, they'd be able to compete for a MAC championship right away.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Paws. I'm Andrew Badillo.
And I'm Emma Carmen.
And Emma, week one for new Quinnipiac men's basketball head coach Baker Dunleavy has been a rough one. Mikey Dixon and Peter Kiss both out. The freshman duo announced last week that they will be transferring, but good news for the team. Chase Daniels, their junior forward, appears to be staying at Quinnipiac after shaking off rumors that he too was transferring.
Now, for the two players QU is losing. Dixon, the defending MAC Rookie of the Year, averaged just over 16 points per game during his freshman season. The six-time MAC Rookie of the Week also dished out over 2 assists per game and averaged 4 rebounds per game. Dixon has garnered interest from Cincinnati, Nevada, LaSalle, George Washington, St. John's, Penn State, UMass Amherst, and University of San Diego, all high major schools.
Big-time schools, Emma. Now let's get over to Peter Kiss. You can see it on the graphic. He also earned MAC rookie honors, averaging 13 points a game to go along with 3 assists and 5 rebounds. Kiss has been linked to St. John's, Cal, Seton Hall, Fordham, and Auburn. Auburn being the only Power 5 school linked to either player at the moment.
Dunleavy has been quick in replacing Kiss and Dixon. Cheshire Academy guard Rich Kelly announced his commitment for the fall. Kelly played his first 4 years at Fairfield Prep, where he led the Jesuits to the Class AA state championship in 2015. This season, Kelly earned all New England Class AA second-team honors in his post-grad year at Cheshire Academy.
And Quinnipiac is also targeting some other players. The Bobcats sent an offer last week to Ty Pickron, a 6'3" guard that plays for Archbishop Wood High School in Pennsylvania. Also, Penn State transfer Isaiah Washington plans to visit Quinnipiac next week.
Quinnipiac Athletics announced a new head coach of the men's basketball team about a month after the firing of Tom Moore.
I'm confident that with his announcements, men's basketball is also going to make March a very exciting month here at Quinnipiac in the years ahead.
And it was right here where Greg Modio introduced Baker Dunleavy as the next Quinnipiac men's head basketball coach.
We achieve greatness because we have exceptional leadership and culture in these programs. And now it is time to set our sights in taking men's basketball to the next level.
And, you know, after our weeks of talks, as Greg mentioned, it was very clear to me that there is a foundation in place at this school that shares a lot of what I believe.
And the current players were optimistic about the coaching change.
I mean, that's big time. He's coming from a big program that's winning, so I think that could pay dividends to Quinnipiac.
It was a relief, you know, to get to see who's going to be the new leader. And, you know, I think the things that he was talking about, you know, it could like translate and it could be good for us.
Dunleavy, who was the associate head coach at Villanova prior to taking the Quinnipiac job, now faces the challenge of keeping the current players.
I mean, obviously there's a sense of urgency to want everybody to stay. And I said that to the guys in the locker room. I hope over the next few days and weeks, they'll feel comfortable enough with me that they want to stay. You know, first and foremost, these next days and weeks are going to be about me building a relationship with those guys, building a trust.
But no matter what, Dunleavy has a tough road ahead as he has to try to take over a team that went 10-21 last season. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Chris Dacey.
Emma, Baker, Dunleavy, Peter Kiss, Mikey Dixon, so much news swirling around this men's basketball team. To break it all down, we're going to bring in our Q30 men's basketball beat reporter Dylan Fearon onto the show to break it all down. Dylan, how are you?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome stuff, Dylan. So let's get right to it. What does Quinnipiac lose with Peter Kiss and Mikey Dixon now requesting their transfers and officially leaving the program?
Yeah, so they've been granted their release from the program. It's not definite that they will transfer, but all signs point to that. But they're losing the best two freshmen in the MAC. I mean, let's start with Mikey Dixon, explosive scorer, can facilitate the ball. He's good in transition. Just a really dynamic scorer. He can create for himself on the court. He averaged 18 points per game in MAC play, so he did his best work in the games that mattered the most. And then Peter Kiss, I mean, bouncy, complete player, can do it on both sides. Good mid-range jumper. He's good in transition as well as Mikey Dixon. And, Peter Kiss is the complete player. He can do a lot of things well. He's versatile. He's athletic. He's explosive. He's bouncy. And he can do, a lot of things well. These guys, if they leave, Quinnipiac loses the two best freshmen in the conference on a team that only had 10 wins. And, as well as Peter Kiss, he can rebound well for a guard. Once Donovan Smith went out with that broken foot, he and Mikey Dixon stepped up the rebounding numbers. So, yes, things have been said that their defense, they lacked in terms of defense, but the pros outweigh the cons in this situation. They're both very good players. They can play at the high major level, which is why so many high major teams have been calling them.
Dylan, so with all that said, where do you think Kiss and Dixon will end up?
Well, as you guys said, they both have offers from St. John's, and they both live in the Northeast, so it would make sense if both did play at St. John's. Peter Kiss also has an offer from Seton Hall. He's a New York kid, so teams that looked at him like Fordham, Seton Hall, St. John's, all things look towards that, and that makes sense for Peter Kiss. Mikey Dixon as well, a Delaware kid, but St. John's is looking at him. You guys said it, Cincinnati and Nevada have the interest, but Penn State offered him, UMass Amherst, San Diego. I don't know if he'd go out west, but I think if they both went to St. John's, they'd be a good fit there with Chris Mullen in the Big East. But we will see. I mean, they have plenty of offers, and a lot. Time will tell. Peter Kiss is also going to take a visit to Iona pretty soon this weekend, so we will see if he even goes to another MAC school.
All right, Dylan, with all that being said on Kiss and Dixon and the possibility that they do leave the program, what does Baker Dunleavy now have to do to replace them, and what have you seen from him so far? Yeah, you guys pointed some of the stuff he's already done. You talked about Ty Pickron, who's a junior, so he's a class of 2018 kid from Archbishop Wood in Pennsylvania. Isaiah Washington, also another Pennsylvania Ty, transferred from Penn State, who averaged just 5 minutes a game at the Big Ten level, but can probably play at the MAC level for sure. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. And then you said Rich Kelly, a 5'11 guard from Cheshire Academy, right down the road. Tom Ward offered him back in February. Once Tom Ward was fired, Baker Dunleavy honored the offer for Rich Kelly, and he took that. He committed to Quinnipiac only 2 days after Baker Dunleavy was announced as the new head coach. So he's getting the ball rolling a little bit. There's still a lot of things he's got to do. He hired the assistants already, so he's gotten the ball rolling, and he's going to have to fill a couple more roster spots before the summertime. Dylan Fearon, thank you for joining us. Exciting stuff as always.
Thanks, guys.
The Quinnipiac women's basketball team has made history today after being ranked 23rd in the final USA Today Coaches Poll of the season. This marks the first time in program history that Quinnipiac earns a national ranking. Quinnipiac has received votes in the national polls, but they have not made the poll until earlier this afternoon. After coming in to the NCAA tournament as a number 12 seed, the Bobcats had 2 wins over number 5 Marquette and number 4 Miami.
All right, Emma, enough of winter sports. Spring is in the air. Let's get to some spring sports action. The men's lacrosse team was in Riverdale, the Bronx this weekend to take on the Manhattan Jaspers in lacrosse. Let's get it going. First quarter action. Jack Brust on defense in the goal. The team has been missing him this season. He's been out in and out with a concussion, making a nice save there. Quinnipiac up 3-1 at that point, and Brian Feldman turns it on for the Bobcats. They're running goal low past the Jaspers goalie. At that point, it would be 4-1 QU. Now it's his turn again from the top of the circle. Rips it past the Jaspers goalie once again, this time facilitating. Nice pass to Tyler DeVito for another Bobcat goal, and he would finish one off once again right here, top of the circle. Again, rips it past the Jaspers goalie. Bobcats go on to win by a final score of 12-6. Men's lacrosse freshman Tyler DeVito has been named MAC Rookie of the Week after helping the Bobcats to a 12-6 win over Manhattan on Saturday. In his first start against the Jaspers, DeVito tallied 2 goals and an assist.
Snow and rain on the baseball fields has forced the baseball team to switch up its schedule. The team had all of its games this week either canceled or postponed. Here's what they had to say about the weather and how it has affected the team.
You know, we deal with it every year. Last year we had a couple weekends early on that we had to do schedule changes. Obviously, this is the biggest schedule change we've had so far. I think have to move the games to Sunday, Monday, and have to move a double header to Monday is a little bit of a challenge moving forward. But honestly, you know, you got to forget about what's ahead of you and just focus on what's happening right now, and we'll figure out how to approach the next weekend as we get there.
The Quinnipiac team traveled down to Kingston, Rhode Island this past Thursday for a matchup with the Rhode Island Rams. Once again, the Bobcats struggled on the mound and in the field. Alex Vargas allowed 4 hits and 7 runs through 2 innings. In those 2 frames, the Bobcats had 7 errors. Matthew Oestreicher led the Bobcats at the plate with 3 hits.
All right, Emma, let's now get it on to baseball, taking on Marist in the first game.
Of a 3-set. Quinnipiac was down 4-0 at one point. In the 8th inning, QU number 5, Evan Volgamore hits one into right field, which scored. Number 11, Anthony Cruz. This tied the game at 4-4. Later on in the 8th inning, we have Quinnipiac's number 6, Matt Batten, sneaks a hit right up the middle. Volgamore scores to take the lead. Quinnipiac Bobcats up 5-4. Once we are now later on in the 8th inning, QU number 25, Liam Scarfarello, hits an absolute rocket out of the park. A 2-run home run which solidifies Quinnipiac's lead. QU up 7-4. In the top of the 9th inning, in comes pitcher Mike Davis. He gets the save with the strikeout there, sealing the comeback victory. Quinnipiac takes it 7-4.
All right, now we're going to jump over to Game 3, Emma. Bobcats took care of business earlier today in the first game of the doubleheader, but now in the second game, we're going to get right to it. Bottom of the second inning, Joseph Burns walks, but here we see it. Ryan Nelson takes the Marist pitcher yard. 2-run home run, Quinnipiac up 2-0. Bobcats much needed offense. Pitching has been doing its job all series against the Red Foxes. Bottom of the second inning now, Matt Osija lines one up the middle. Marist, second baseman, can't get a full glove on it. As a result, Nelson comes in to score 3-0. Moving on into the 9th inning, things got a little dicey. However, Quinnipiac would be able to close it out. Mike Davis, Quinnipiac wins 4-2.
This weekend we pitched exceptionally well. We had great pitch quality. We were ahead in the count a lot of times, and we also were able to get a lot of strikeouts and a lot of swing and misses, which was huge. To be able to go in there with a plan and execute the plan is what we've been telling our guys. And this weekend we did that.
All right, now let's take a look at the MAC standings for baseball. Niagara leads it up top at 4-2, 13-9 overall. Monmouth at 4-2 as well, 7-16 overall, followed by Canisius, Siena, and Fairfield, rounding out the top 5.
Now we're at number 6, Quinnipiac, which is 3-3 and 11-13 overall. Then we hit Iona with 3-3, then Manhattan, Marist, Ryder, and St. Peter's.
We're going to take a quick break here on Sports Paws, but when we come back, softball head coach Jill Karwowski stops by to discuss her team's play in the early stages of MAC play.
And we'll talk with members of the men's tennis team about Kei Zaka and his importance to the program after he made history on Sunday. Stay with us. Thank you for sticking with us. Men's tennis player Kei Izaka currently has 137 career wins, which ties John Hughes for the highest all-time in program history. Izaka has 68 single wins and 69 double wins. We caught up with Izaka and some of his teammates about the milestone.
What makes Kei such a great tennis player?
You know, Kei shows up every day and he puts in the work, he puts in 100% effort, and he really knows how to pace himself and do the work right, do the work the right way.
Kei's on the court, he's a really emotional player, and he's really a fiery player. Off the court, he's a quiet and assuming kid, like kind of a lot of our guys. But on the court, it's just that's where the passion for the game comes out.
What will breaking the record mean for the program himself? I mean, 138 wins is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And I know Kei's ecstatic about it. He wants to break that record. He wants to smash that record. And I think that kind of mentality translates to his tennis. Like he doesn't just want to win, he wants to like win bad, you know?
It's great. You know, when I was recruited a year before him, I got to see him as a freshman, and it was really, truly amazing how much he's grown around the team. You know, I think that this record is huge for the program. It's huge for how far this program has come in 4 years with him on the team.
How important is it for you guys, the rest of the team, to get to the NCAA tournament, to win the MAC tournament for Kei?
Yeah, man, it's unbelievable. You know, we're playing out here. We know what the seniors go through. We had a tough loss last year with 2 great captains, and we never want to experience that again. It's super important for us to get Kei to that NCAA tournament. It's something that our whole program has worked towards.
I think it's incredibly important. You know, we've talked about it. This is my 3rd year as a head coach, and I was an assistant for the year before. So Kei and I came in together, and we started together. And one of the things that we talked about, because that first year when I was here and Kei was here as a freshman, was our first year in the MAC. And one of the things that we really wanted to try to set as a program goal is not let a graduating class go without making it to the NCAA tournament and winning our conference championships.
Quinnipiac softball had its home opener on Sunday, and it was a pitching clinic. The Bobcats, the instructor, the Hartford Hawks, the students. Casey Herzog and Abby Long dominated the Hawks in both games. The two combined to throw 14 innings, allowing just 4 hits and 1 run. The 2 wins gave the Bobcats a 4-game win streak as they moved to 11-14 on the season. And on Sunday, the softball team opened up its MAC season against St. Peter's. The Peacocks snapped the Bobcats' 4-game win streak as they won game 1 1-0. Quinnipiac bounced back in the second game and won the second one 8-2. The doubleheader against St. Peter's is part of a brutal 8 games in 6-day stretch for the Bobcats. And now let's roll it on into the highlight. The Bobcats taking on Ryder in the first game today. There it is.
They are 1-1 in MAC play after splitting the doubleheader with St. Peter's. Here we have Casey Herzog, a junior ace for this softball team. In the top of the first, Ryder number 5, Tony Nino, out on a bunt. There is no score after this. Now we go into the top of the 7th inning that QU leads 5-2. Ryder number 14, Elier Zusa, pops up to second base. QU up 5-2. Ryder number 2, Sabrina Torres, grounds out to Rebecca Drake at third base. QU leading 5-2. Herzog adds a strikeout, finished with 5 on the day. QU wins 5-2. She threw a complete game after allowed 1 earned run.
All right, Emma, let's check out game 2 of the doubleheader between Quinnipiac and Ryder. Bobcats looking to finish off the Bronx, looking for the sweep. Let's take it to the top of the 5th inning. Ryder's down 2-0, but they're threatening with runners on first and third and 1 out. Ground ball to the left side. Nice play. Double play, as a matter of fact. Right there, Bobcats on fire on defense. And how about at the plate? Nice running bunt. Scoring, everyone is safe, rather. Emily Zaja with the nice bunt there. Quinnipiac up 2-0 at that point. Top of the 6th, Ryder with a man on first, no one out. Another double play. How about that? Bobcats playing excellent on defense. And how about freshman Abby Long recording the complete game shutout, getting the final out right there. Bobcats go on to win 2-0 and sweep Ryder, moving to 3-1 in the MAC.
And now we take a look at the softball standings for the MAC. Right now we have Iona, who is 4-0 in the MAC, and then overall 14-2. Next with Fairfield, 2-0 in the MAC, 8-16 overall. Manhattan 3-1, 16-10, followed by Marist, and then Quinnipiac in 5th.
Emma Monmouth following suit at 1-1, followed by Siena and St. Peter's at 1-1 as well. Canisius, Ryder, and Niagara round out the bottom 3 in the MAC.
Now, MJ Baird is standing by in the piazza with softball head coach Jill Karwoski. They will discuss their season and look forward to the upcoming MAC slate. MJ?
Emma, Andrew, thank you so much. Jill, first off, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I know you had the doubleheader today, definitely exhausted, so thank you for joining us here on Sports Paws tonight. So first of all, you've seen your first 2 doubleheaders of the MAC season, 3-1 you come out. How do you feel you've come away with these games so far?
Yeah, this weekend and today is Monday. Our team played really well. We were hoping to get 4-0 off our 2 games. Obviously we lost one at St. Peter's, but we got to give them a little bit of credit. They came out, and I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that first game. And once we sat back, relaxed a little bit, we kind of came into our own offensively. So we'll take the 3-1 and we'll keep going.
Speaking of the pressure that you might have put on yourself last year, you make it to the MAC semifinals, that historic playoff run. Do you have any season goals or expectations for your team this year?
Absolutely, and that's one of them. We want to make the tournament again. They got a taste of it last year. And we came in with 2 wins in the tournament. So, this year they're going for it. We don't want to stop short. We don't want to come in second, third. They do want it all. So we are going to, keep plugging away and shoot for the top.
Of course, as is year in and year out, you lose players, especially, your starting pitcher last year, Sidney Roby. But then you have returners such as Casey Herzog, who has been phenomenal so far this year. So, if you had to talk about some strengths and weaknesses for this team, what would you say your team has?
I think one of the strengths, and we've seen it, throughout, our 29 games, is really the diversity of our team. We've got a lot of players that can play multiple positions, and, with a couple of injuries, that's really come to our benefit. So having that little bit of diversity has helped us. We have a lot of athleticism with Casey Herzog and, our second pitcher, Abby, and we've got a third, Kendall. So we've got a really strong pitching staff. With that, we have a strong offense. So, if we can get a couple runs up, we're confident that our pitching staff can, shut teams out, which is nice. And some of the weaknesses, might be, we struggle a little bit with, some slower pitching, so, we've got to do a little bit better adjusting, and executing with runners in scoring position. So, we're working on it. That's on our game plan for the week.
And how do you feel, you go down to Florida, players like Georgia, how do you feel your team played down there, and how did that prepare you for the MAC season?
Yeah, I think we had a great preseason. We had our first tournament down in Florida, and then we were 10 days out in California, so we saw a wide variety of teams, a lot of different pitching. So, we saw some high-pressured games, and, we had a couple games that slipped away, in late innings. So, all those experiences just helped build a little bit more stable defense for us and, help create a pretty strong offense.
All right, Jill, thank you so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the season.
You're welcome. Appreciate it.
Andrew, Emma, back to you at the desk.
All right, thanks a lot, MJ. When we come back on Sports Paws, we give you our weekly top 5 plays, and I promise you that you won't want to miss it.
And Quinnipiac struck a new big deal with Adidas, Andrew, and we asked you, the fans, if you are in favor with the new deal. Stay with us to find out.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Quinnipiac Athletics has announced a new deal with Adidas this past week. Adidas will now be the official athletic footwear and apparel provider for Quinnipiac sports. The deal with Adidas runs through the 2023-2024 season, and we asked you, the fans, what you thought about the deal. Like it, dislike it, indifferent. 50% said that they like it, while 25% said that they don't like it and are indifferent.
And Andrew, the women's soccer team has a new addition. They have announced the hiring of volunteer assistant coach Matt Jones. Jones has 6 years of professional experience as a goalkeeper in Portugal. The team says they hope he can work specifically with the goalkeepers on the women's team. Quinnipiac returns 3 of its 4 goaltenders from last year, including freshman starter Olivia Majewski. Quinnipiac women's golf continued its successful season after placing second out of 10 teams at the Seahawk Invitational in Pennsylvania today. The Bobcats placed 4 student athletes in the top 10 after the first day. Quinnipiac freshman Alexander Sazin finished in a tie for 5th with a total of 153 for the tournament. Team's total score of 311 is the 4th best team round in program history after their first day. The same score the team shot to win last year's MAC championship. The Bobcats returned to Connecticut for their last tournament, and they're headed to Florida for MAC championships coming on up.
Women's indoor track and field had a stellar day at the Colonial Relays as it finished in 10th place. Jessica Lee and Kaylee Roberts set program records in the 100-meter hurdles and the 1500 respectively. Head coach Carolyn Martin, get a load of this, Emma. She called the meet one of the best opening day performances in her time at Quinnipiac. Martin has been here for 13 years.
Now switching over to the team that keeps on bringing hardware back, Andrew, to Hamden, the women's rugby team. Becky Carlson's squad captured the AIC Invitational in Springfield, Massachusetts on Sunday. The Bobcats captured the championship, defeating Army 25-5. Alona Marr and Flora Poole were named first team all-tournament. Marr was also named the AIC Invitational MVP.
And now, Emma, it's time for the top 5 plays of the week presented by B&D Deli Works. Open for breakfast and lunch, home of the Quinnipiac Panini and Q-Dog sub. Let's get it going. Number 5 play, men's lacrosse at Manhattan. Brian Feldman on the man-up will get the ball at the top and fire it. Q wins 12-6.
And number 4, Liam Scarfurl hits an absolute rocket out of the park, and Quinnipiac wins this one 7-4 for the baseball team.
Number 3 play, women's lax at Manhattan. Ashley Babinski is going to score with 9 seconds left and give Quinnipiac the dramatic win. They win 12-11.
And now we're at number 2, baseball versus Maris, game 2. Mike Palladino with the absolute diving catch in to get the out in deep center field. QU wins this game 2-0. And we look at it again there in slow-mo. There's Mike Palladino. Absolute amazing catch, Andrew.
Team missed him last year while he tore his ACL. Number 1 play, softball versus Ryder. Here we saw it earlier. They turned the 5-3-2 double play. Absolutely outstanding play. Softball had a great week as well as the baseball team. Just a tremendous week for spring sports on campus.
Agreed. And
that'll do it for this episode of Sports Paws.
For more information, please follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports and at sports_paws. And be sure to check out our website, q30television.com.
For Emma Carmen, I'm Andrew Badillo. We'll see you next time here on Sports Paws.